The result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder. A rudder is a gouverneur. I had to look up that word too in Dutch. For such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by, what do you think? How do you remember the spiritual master?
By following his instructions.
By remembering his instructions. Especially if your spiritual master leaves this planet. Like that. Then you have to live on the instructions. Fortunately, there are lectures and now videos. And now, the reason of the present gurus, many have passed away. Kadamba Kamala Swami, going to India to leave his body. And so many gurus, Bhaktitirtha Swami, so many they left the planet. And so you have to remember his instructions. Sometimes they wrote a book, sometimes not. So sometimes he gave you personal instructions, and sometimes not. Like that. So there's no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, however, therefore, his words of direction should be the pride of his disciples. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the shastric injunctions. What is the shastric injunctions? What does Prabhupada mean with that?
Conclusion of the shastras.
Louder, I'm a little bit.
Conclusion of the shastras. What is the essence of the?
But what are the shastric injunctions regarding a spiritual master, accepting a spiritual master? That it's a must. Or that's a must, or it means the bona fide, what is a bona fide spiritual master in terms of, like that. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the shastric injunction. So it says the shastra says you need a guru. So we have to do that. We follow guru, sadhu, and shastra. Can you hear me? Okay. Sri Jiva Goswami advises that one who has not accepted a spiritual master in terms of I don't know how to pronounce that word. Can you pronounce that word? The word there. You're reading it, no? In terms of hereditary. What is it for that?
Hereditary.
Hereditary, that sounds French. What is it in English? No, but in English. How do you pronounce it in English?
That's how you say it.
Hereditary. Accent of the two. Hereditary. Or customary, social, and, it's a difficult word, ecclesiastical conventions. Like from the Christians, like popes and things like that. One should simply try to find a genuine qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Sri Radha Krishna Prabhu Sri Balaram Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Ram ki jai. Tapta kanchana gauranga Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishtavanam Devi Pranami Hari He Krishna Karunasasya Bandhu Jagatpate Gopicha Kubuka Kantana Kanta Dostate Namo Brahmaya Vaya Go Brahmani Taye Taye Gati Taye Krishna Govindaya Namo. I first of all offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual masters. Yes. In the past, there was new devotees. They were instructed by maybe the bhakti leader or generally the bhakti leader, and they were guiding them on their path in spiritual life, and others, and then they take an initiation of a guru, and then the other ones are not so important anymore. So you have to always remember, those who have instructed you and taught you in the very beginning. Gratefulness is a very, for me, gratefulness, and I think maybe also from the Lord, Prabhupada, I don't know, but for me, gratefulness is the most beautiful characteristic a devotee can have. If you're ungrateful, it's not very nice. You're also so to grateful to everyone who has helped you on your path, and don't forget it. If they helped you spiritually or even materially, never forget your well-wishers like that. Yes, so I was reading. So Srila Prabhupada, he left us instructions for us to become purified. One of the instructions is that you have to attend the morning program and the evening program. And in this way, you have a good start of the day and a good ending of the day. Mangal Arti means auspicious Arti. So if you attend Mangal Arti, that's an auspicious start of the day. When I'm in the temple, very frankly, when I'm at home, I get sometimes up at 7 or at 6, but when I'm in the temple, I haven't missed in 50 years 10 times a Mangalati, even while visiting. In Kerala I just missed it because we came back 10 o'clock and I didn't have my midday nap. But for me, the Lord is waking up at 3:45, and if I aspire to be His servant, then I have to be there too, even if I'm tired. But I always make sure I go to bed early, because I get evening kirtans, which is very attractive. But then I think, if I stay till the end, I will be tired in the morning. So I always think of the morning, like that. And take rest. You have to take rest so that when you're in the class, you don't fall asleep, like that. Prabhupada said, take a nap when you're tired, and take a snack when you're hungry, like that. You have to care about your person, and you have to care about your soul. To care about your body means you have to eat healthily, and you have to sleep enough, and you have to have peace of mind. By chanting Hare Krishna, you get peace of mind. And if you have the realization that Krishna is in control, He's in your heart, and He knows all what you're thinking of, all your desires. But He knows it, so you don't even have to pray to Him, but you still pray to Him just to let it out of your system if you have a problem. And like that. But you should also accept that whatever happens to you, He knows and He allows it. So if someone shoots you, or if someone praises you, or if someone insults you, He allows that too. And why is that? And how does a devotee has to accept that? There's two questions. Why does it happen? And why does the Lord let that happen? And how should a devotee, why should the Lord let this happen, that something bad happens to a devotee? What do you think? Anyone?
Karma.
A little louder. I mean,
Karma.
there is karma from previous activities, but Krishna could minimize that. So a devotee should accept what happens to him as karma, due to sinful activities. But sometimes, there's like recently two devotees serving out food for life, they're building a shop and they collapsed and two died. So how can this happen? Sometimes you have a family and a child dies. 3-year-old child dies, and why is it happening? So there's a story of two brothers, and one was the perfect son you could desire, very obedient to his parents, very in the serving mood. Father, are you tired? Shall I give you a massage? Or whatever. He saw that his parents were taken care of nicely, and the other son, was not following a request of his parents and had a big mouth and started stealing from his parents, and later on, he was stealing from others, and that son was so horrible that the parents left home. You couldn't take living with him anymore, so let's take Vanaprastha. But then, those two boys were left at home, and at one time, those two boys, they went for a walk. And then the nice boy, he stubbed his toe against a rock, and it split open his big toe. And then the other son, he saw under that boulder 100 gold coins. So then the good son was thinking, I've been good all the time. Look at my toe. And my brother finds 100 gold coins. What is this? So then one time he came across three kalagya. Three means three, trois. Kala is time. Gyana is knowledge. He knows your past life, your present life, and he knows your future life. In India, there is a book called Bhrigu Samhita, and there's still some scholars who know, and if you happen to meet one, he's standing outside his cottage because he knows you're coming. I still want to look for one, but I know because Interduna Swami went to one in outside Jaipur, 30 kilometers from Jaipur. But he doesn't speak English, so it had to be translated. But he was waiting for them. I don't think he had a phone at the time. Anyway, so going back to the Srikalagya. So the good boy, the good son said, my dear sir, so this happened, and my son, my brother was like this, and I've been treating my parents very nicely, and look at my toe, it's almost falling off. And then he found 100 gold coins. And he said, well, actually, due to your past activities, you should have lost your leg. But because you've been just a good boy to your parents, to a good son, it's minimized to just your toe. And your brother, in his past life, he was very generous. And he was supposed to find 1,000 gold coins. But because he had been stealing and doing this, it has been minimized to 100 gold coins. So a devotee should accept whatever comes to you as I deserve it. Sometimes you're treated nicely, sometimes you're not treated nicely. Sometimes, you get an accident, and sometimes you get this, and you just have to accept it. But you have to also take care of your own body, that you don't get sick, and that and that you don't go, if there's a war, that you go, let me go and preach there. It's risky. And if you want to do it, you can be killed, and don't complain, like that. So if you if you're searching for trouble, then don't be surprised there will be trouble. Or you're not searching for trouble, but if you go to an area where there's trouble, then that might happen to you. Okay, let me see what else. So how can, Prabhupada describes how can one understand God? What did he say? And yeah, how can one develop love of God? By
Devotional service to get
By
the
devotional
inspiration.
not by logic, but just by doing devotion service. Everything is explained to you, even if you are illiterate, and even if you're a child, like
Prahlad?
huh?
Prahlad?
No, like
Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj was a little boy. I wrote a musical of it. I'm not very scholarly, but the place I know. The play, if I made a musical of it, I know them. So Dhruva Maharaj was the son of a king. But the father had two queens, Miki and Suruchi. And unfortunately, his mother was not the favorite queen of the king. And the other queen, she had also had a son called Uttanapa. And because he was attracted to that queen particularly, so one day the king had Uttanapa, his younger son, sitting on his lap. And then Dhruva, naturally, being 5 years old, wanted to sit on the other lap. And then the mother of his brother, what was his name again? I forgot that now. Anyway, he said, what are you doing there? Huh? You know, no, you can't sit on the lap of your father. And she was very nasty. She said, if you worship God, then maybe in the next life you might take birth of me and then you can sit on your father's lap. Isn't that nasty? For a father, That's why generally, it's best to have one mother, one father, because a stepfather, stepmother, they always take their own children in favor. Like that sometimes, not always. So of course, the Maharaj, being passionate, little Kshatriya boy, he rushed away crying, and then he came to the quarters of his mother, and she's saying, what's happening? What happened? And the maid servants told him this and this happened, blah 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 blah. And she said, oh Dhruva, whatever your stepmother has said, actually, it's true. Only by worshipping God, your desires can be fulfilled. He said, where can I find God? She said, well, I've heard, the great sages, they're looking for God in the forest. And then he immediately rushed off. He didn't pack a suitcase, he just, 5 years old, didn't know what was God, who was God, asking the trees, are you God? Are you real God? So then, Narada Muni, traveling sage, maybe directed by the Lord to go to that little boy who was looking for him, went there, and he says, and Dhruva Maharaj paid obeisances, and he said, oh, my dear boy, shouldn't you, maybe, boys of your age, they like to play with toys and balls, etc. It's better, if you go home, because, and then when you get older, you return to the forest and perform austerities, and then, but now you're too young. Normally, older persons, they go to the forest. And he said, no. He says, he said, 5 years old, very respectful, he said, yes, you are right, but I'm a Kshatriya, and I had to do it. I just have to do it. Okay, he says, okay, if you do it then you chant this mantra. Which mantra did he give? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, this 12-syllable mantra. And worship Tulsi. So then he did that. And he first started eating the fruits of the trees, which were growing abundantly. And then he minimized everything, that he started leaves and only drinking water. And then the Lord appeared, Vishnu form, the Buddha. And then he was like Betas obeisance, and then he wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. And then Lord Vishnu touched him with his conch shell. So Lord Vishnu has 4 weapons. A conch shell, and what else? A flower, a chakra, and a gada, a club. So the flower and the conch are for benediction, and the chakra and club is for killing. So he touched with a conch shell, for the head of Dhruva, and immediately all the imports of the Vedic scriptures were revealed to him. So he immediately became knowledgeable, like that. So that can happen. There's a story of Lord Chaitanya. He's traveling, and there he sees I think it was a Brahmin, but a devotee. He was reading, or he was looking at scrolls, and Lord Chaitanya noticed that other people around were mocking him because he was an illiterate. He couldn't write, so he still was looking at these palm leaves, but he couldn't write, so he said, and what did you read today? Like this. So then Lord Chaitanya met him, and he said, also asked what you've been reading, and because he understand from Lord Chaitanya's appearance and of the way he was saying it, that he was not mocking him. Mocking, you know what mocking is in French? Making jokes, teasing him or putting him down. So he said, well, my spiritual master instructed me to read the Bhagavad Gita, but I can't read. But so I just go through it. And he said, but I see some tears in your eyes, moist in your eyes. He said, well, why is that then, if you can't read it? Well, he said, I'm just thinking, the Supreme Lord, Krishna, he's taking the reins of Arjuna's chariot. So God himself becomes the driver of Arjuna, of his devotee. And that touches me, you see? And then Lord Chaitanya embraced him and says, you have understood the Bhagavad Gita. So it's all about devotion and love. But in the beginning you have to also, follow the program. To please the Lord. And so I myself, during a festival day, I try to attend the program of the Lord, not other programs. So if the Lord has been offered a swing, or if he's being swung, I call it. What is the word? Swung? Then I try to stay there all the time, because he's there, so I feel like I should be there all the time, if I wanted to be in his presence. Here he is there, he goes all the way out for us to give service to him by doing this, but also to sing to him. So he doesn't want you to swing and then go off and talk to someone else and blah blah blah, or eat something. No, you have to be all. That's what I feel. Like that, if that's Abhishek, not just bait him and go away, but attend that. It's his festival. What's the use on your Mastami if he's having a program, the Lord. And you're chanting 64 rounds in the chorus. And he's, just like you have a birthday, and everyone is glorifying you, and no one is in your, in your room, no one gives you presents. No, you want to see them, right? You want to see your friends, and you want to get presents, So when you go to the temple, also bring a present. Bring some jewelry, or some fruit, or anything, some flowers, like that. And that is personal. And by being personal, you get so much personal, Christian likes that. Because each one of us like to be personally treated, right? If someone greets you, what is more painful to the Lord is that you ignore him, that he doesn't exist. So, just like you're looking for a devotee, you enter the temple room, say you go like there, you go like this, you see the deities, but you don't, the devotee's not there. And then you walk out again without paying obeisances to the deities. That's impersonalism and unaware. You only see the deities at official times, but not when you see them, like that. And, that is personalism. And by doing these things, at least it helped me, to be aware of God and aware of what program is happening and take part in it, to please him, not to please me. Also because I get pleased, because it's always fun, whatever you do in Krishna consciousness, right? Abhishek, going to the lecture, or sing. So whatever is connected is fun for you too, but it purifies you. And by serving, by having this attitude to try to become a perfect servant, then you get more and more bliss, realization. What time is it?
5 to 9.
5 to 9. No, generally stops at 9, right? Or not? Any question? Roman? Loud and clearly.
You said the karma, but it also, the previous karmas, the result is also get impacted by our actions in the present life. That's what you explained.
Yeah, and whatever you do now, it's minimized or
Minimizing or maximizing.
Yeah, but still you have to accept it. It's just you can't complain to the Lord. Prabhu gave the example in the Second World War. All the mothers and daughters went to the church at that time in Europe. Everyone went to the church in the 40s, 50s, 40s it was. So then they went, and the Germans and the French and the English, and said, "My dear Lord, please let my husband come back from the battlefield. My dear Lord, let my father come back from the battlefield." And when he didn't come back, he thought, he doesn't exist. He doesn't fulfill my prayers. But he's not there to fulfill your prayers. He will fulfill your prayers if he loves you. If you do service to him, he will, like a pure devotee, he fulfills all his desires. But in the beginning, you can't. He's not your order supplier. Order question?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. When I lead kirtan, or
When you lead
when
kirtan?
I lead kirtan, for example,
Yes.
then, especially when there is lots of devotees there, then I'm very attentive in chanting. I feel I take care to be very focused and attentive. But when I chant japa, the mind goes everywhere. And why is this difference? How to be always personal and very attentive during japa?
I'm wondering that too. no. It reminds me story of Sruti Kirti. He said, when he had jaundice, he said, "Prabhupada, I think I have jaundice." And he said, "What are the symptoms?" "Well, I'm yellow and my eyes are like this." He said, "Oh, maybe I have jaundice." That's what I was saying. No, so yes, you just have the mind, goes there, and you just have to pull it back, and by hook or crook, you just have to chant properly. And if you chant inattentively, there's no joy in it. But if you chant attentively, then it's like eating Sita, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. In the old days, we used to have different kinds of japa. We have the dive bomb japa, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You know, or the japa, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hey, what was this thing? Yeah, I said, Hare Krishna. Did you, what's happening with the Hare Krishna? You know, talking to him. So all these things, it's annoying, just like I'm talking with you. And then in the meantime, someone is ringing you. And you pick up the phone, you start talking to the phone, then I go away. I get insulted. Do you? Don't you find it very rude if you're talking to someone and they pick up the phone and they have a conversation? I just walk off. Not that it happens now, very rarely, but it does happen. And I just walk off to show that I'm not pleased. And so the Lord is like that too. You know, you have to be aware of His presence and aware. And everyone not looking at the deities. What color do they wear today? Who knows? Right now, what they're wearing, which color?
Green and yellow.
What?
Green and yellow.
No.
No.
Yeah, no, multicolored. Multicolored. And yesterday, what did they wear? Which color?
Green.
Green and yellow. And the day before?
Yellow.
And
No, it was pink.
blue. Because I said to Visesha, the seamstress who made the outfit yesterday, I said, why did they wear yellow? Because they're wearing yellow today. Yes, and I told the Pujaris to wear another, put another color, because, and it's different, you know. But they wore yesterday yellow again. But it was beautiful. And today, multicolored, I love multicolored. I love actually yellow. One time Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, standing in front of Govindam Prayer, standing in front of Konikai, telling what's his name again? Jachita Prabhu. He said, actually, Lord Chaitanya wears yellow. He said, yes, but we put them on in a different color. You know, every day that's what they do in the temples in Vrindavan too. He said, yes, but actually he wears yellow. But when I was head pujari too in London, in Ramana for some years. And we used to also have daily a different color. But actually, because I watched the greeting of the deities in London and Ramana at home on the computer, when they were yellow, it just looks so much joyfuler than if they were like purple, or it just, you know, and especially if Krishna wears yellow, and Radharani wears blue, and Balaram wears blue, and Nityananda wears blue, then, so I was thinking if I ever would be head pujari again, I would put them always in yellow and blue, but I put different colors with it, with orange, or, you know, like that, so that they always like, anyway, just one thing. Last question.
So what do you recommend if you live outside
I can't
the
hear.
temple? What do you recommend if you live outside the temple? Because you say that the Lord wake up at, I don't remember at what
What you have to do outside, when you live outside the
if
temple,
you can't
to
attend Mangalati, if you have no temple near you, should you like
but you can recite the prayers.
yeah, you recite the prayer and you wake up still at the same time?
Recite the prayers, and if you have a big shirt, and you can sing like that. You know, offer your food to Krishna.
No, yeah, sure.
And you go on Harinam, and you do book distribution, you know, so you're serving him already. And, you know, like that, and now you've come to see him, so, you know, like that. That will be, if you go on Sankirtan, and he will be very pleased. The best thing you can do, please, Srila Prabhupada. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Hari Bol.